Hello collectors, today I'm going to go over every single PvP item you can buy from an NPC currently in the game. I'm going to do this in no particular order, so I'm just be kind of bouncing all over the place here. So first off here, if you go ahead and you fish here in Lotus and Beach, you will be able to collect garbage, which you'll be able to go to this NPC and buy his stuff here. So here he has 3 MMs, he has bait, which basically makes the opposing Loomian attack whoever uses bait, which is very helpful in 2v2. Tsunami, which affects all Loomians on the battlefield, so it has some uses, especially if you have a Loomian with an ability that will let you get energy or health from water. And then Maroon will just drain a small amount of their enemy, which is also very beneficial. They also sell Pearls here, which absorbs half of the power of a certain type of attack when the Loomian is equipped. This can be useful for using something like a, for example, a Zulong, which don't have a lot of HP, to kind of make it sure it hits another hit. It takes another hit. Most importantly, though, is the Shards, which will boost a Loomian's unique points when used. Normally, you can only get them through Corrupt, but here you can buy them for 2 cannons and 1 tire. And as you can tell, I have a lot of tires. It's very useful, especially with PvP. You can just search here. You can see that I boosted the melee attack on here. Do I really need to? No, but it's beneficial. Again, for Blowtox, you can see here, speed was boosted. All these stats are perfect. So that's very, very, very useful for being able to make sure your Loomians are PvP. Next up is here in Atlantean City, and that will be the Atlantean Arcade. Basically, you just gotta buy some tokens, and then you go ahead and you just play the games. So play the games here if you're Lumi coins. As you can tell, I have very little. You get your ticks, you come over to this counter here, you can actually pick up some very useful items. Like for example, you can pick up the plushies. This one, when a Loomian is struck by super effective move, will become enraged, greatly boosting its melee and ranged attack. This can be very useful for a fairly bulky Loomian. That will basically let you, greatly boost its melee attack. Next up here is the Clutch plushie. This will make sure that your Loomian will survive with at least 1 HP, so basically the focus sash. The item will be used for the remainder of the battle, so unlike a focus sash, you actually get to keep it forever. It's just only useful once per battle. The holder will lose 1/10 of its energy, I believe it says there. That's again another very useful item if you're using something like a Zulong that can't really take hits but can deal a lot of damage. Next up here is Specialty Boots. Loomian increased Specialty Boots will have increased speed, but only be able to use the first move in its battle. So basically, you just attack faster, but you're stuck to one specific move. And here you got a bunch of MMs. I'm not going to read them all because that'd take too long. You also got Boonery, who basically is like a Ditto. And then here you've got Shells. This will basically just increase the strength of one attack used by that Loomian. So again, this could be useful for hitting a one-shot KO depending on your Loomian. But there's some very useful items here in the arcade as well. And of course, last but not least, you can also go ahead and get PvP items with the Battle Coliseum using CP. So if you come over to one of these NPCs here, this guy over here, go ahead and talk to him. You can basically buy CP out of Robux, and you can buy stuff like gummies, which do training points, which if I go ahead and show you on here, will basically be like this light blue stuff here, or right here. And these are a pain in the butt to get normally. You have to like fight NPCs like 60-70 times. So I usually just buy gummies here. You can also go ahead and get stuff like Power Fruit, which will just make your Loomian raise a level. Mungo Coffee, which gives you energy. All these different items, which will basically just make your Loomians more beneficial. Some of the best, of course, Health Amulet is very good for tank Pokemon. Thunder Fruit is good for getting stuff like Alaguana. Magic Chisel is actually a new one. Also a lot of MMs as well. So obviously there's a lot of PvP items in Loomian Legacy, and each one are beneficial in its own ways. So why not go ahead and experiment with them and see what you like the best.